What if I told you that discipline, not talent, not luck, not even motivation, is the ultimate secret weapon behind every successful person you admire? Imagine how different your life could look if you mastered the art of self-control and turned discipline into your daily superpower. Introduction. Welcome back to Audiobook Caps. Today, we're diving into The Power of Discipline by Daniel Walter, a practical guide that reveals why discipline is the missing ingredient in achieving lasting success. Walter explains that while motivation fades and talent gives you a head start, discipline is what keeps you moving forward when things get tough. This book is worth summarizing because it breaks down how you can harness the science of habits, self-control, and mental toughness to unlock your true potential and create the life you've always wanted. Chapter 1. Discipline is the cornerstone of success. If there's one thing this book wants you to know right away, it's this. Discipline is the real foundation of success. We often admire people who seem naturally talented or insanely lucky, but the truth is, talent and luck only get you so far. What actually separates the people who achieve their goals from those who don't is discipline. The ability to stay consistent, focused, and committed even when it's not easy. Think about it. Motivation can feel exciting in a moment, but it always fades. That's why so many people start diets, businesses, or projects full of energy, only to quit a few weeks later. Discipline, on the other hand, is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it gets. It's the quiet force that helps you show up day after day, even when you don't feel like it. Daniel Walter explains that every area of life, whether it's building wealth, staying healthy, growing relationships, or excelling at work, depends on discipline. Without it, progress falls apart. With it, even small, steady actions compound into massive results over time. In short, success isn't about doing big, flashy things once in a while. It's about doing the right things consistently. And discipline is the tool that makes that consistency possible. Chapter 2. Self-control outweighs motivation. Motivation feels amazing, doesn't it? It's that rush of energy you get when you set a new goal or feel inspired by someone's success story. But here's the problem. Motivation doesn't last. It's like a sugar high. It spikes, then fades, often right when you need it most. That's why so many people start something strong, but lose steam halfway through. Daniel Walter argues that self-control is far more powerful than motivation. Self-control is the ability to keep moving forward even when you don't feel like it. It's what helps you get out of bed on cold mornings, stick to your workout when you're tired, or save money instead of spending it on something impulsive. Think of it this way. Motivation is like a spark, but self-control is the engine that keeps the car running. Without self-control, you'll only move forward when you feel like it. With it, you create consistency, and consistency is what produces results. The chapter also explains that self-control is not about being strict or miserable. It's about making smarter choices in the moment, knowing they'll pay off in the long run. The more you practice it, the easier it becomes, like exercising a muscle. So the real lesson here? Don't wait around for motivation to strike. Instead, train your self-control. It's the reliable tool that keeps you going when the initial excitement fades, and it's the reason disciplined people actually reach their goals. Chapter 3. Habits Shape Destiny. If discipline is the foundation of success, then habits are the bricks that build it. In this chapter, Daniel Walter explains how our daily habits, those little actions we often overlook, end up shaping the course of our lives. Think about it. Your habits are like autopilot behaviors. You don't have to think too hard about them. You just do them. That's why they're so powerful. If your habits are positive, they quietly push you towards success without you even noticing. If they're negative, they slowly chip away at your progress. Walter emphasizes that big life changes don't usually come from one dramatic event. They come from small, consistent actions that compound over time. For example, reading 10 pages a day doesn't feel like much, but over a year, that's several books finished. Saving a few dollars daily might seem minor, but years later, it adds up to real wealth. The key point here is that your destiny isn't decided by what you occasionally do, but by what you consistently do. That means the habits you practice today will eventually decide the kind of future you'll have. So instead of chasing instant results, the smarter move is to focus on building strong habits. Once good habits are locked in, they carry you forward with less effort, making success almost automatic. Chapter 4. Delay gratification for bigger rewards. We live in a world that loves instant results. Fast food, same-day shipping, instant likes on social media. But Daniel Walter reminds us that the real magic happens when we can delay gratification. In simple terms, it's the ability to say no to something small right now so you can enjoy something much bigger later. Think of it like planting a seed. You don't eat the seed today. You water it, care for it, and wait. Months later, you get fruit that's far more satisfying than what you would have had if you ate the seed. Success works the same way. Whether it's saving money instead of spending it, exercising instead of sleeping in, or studying instead of binge-watching shows, discipline means choosing long-term rewards over short-term comfort. Walter points out that this skill is a defining trait of successful people. In fact, research shows that people who can delay gratification, like in the famous marshmallow test with kids, tend to achieve more in life, from better health to stronger careers. The lesson here is simple but powerful. Short-term pleasures often come at the cost of long-term progress. By training yourself to pause and think, what will this choice mean for me in the future? You build a mindset that leads to bigger wins. In other words, success isn't about what feels good right now. It's about what will matter years from now. Chapter 5. Environment influences discipline. Here's a truth we don't always like to admit. Willpower alone isn't enough. No matter how strong you think your self-control is, your environment has a huge influence on your discipline. Daniel Walter explains that the people, places, and things you surround yourself with can either make discipline easier or almost impossible. Think about it. If you're trying to eat healthy but your kitchen is stocked with chips and soda, you're fighting an uphill battle every single day. On the other hand, if your fridge is filled with fresh fruits and healthy meals, you've made the right choice, the easy choice. The same goes for productivity. If your workspace is cluttered and your phone is buzzing with notifications, staying focused will feel like a struggle. But if your environment is clean, organized, and distraction-free, discipline comes more naturally. Walter also stresses the importance of the people you spend time with. If your circle is full of people who encourage bad habits, you'll likely pick them up too. But if you're around people who are disciplined, driven, and supportive, you'll rise to their level. The main takeaway? Discipline isn't just about inner strength. It's about setting up your surroundings to support your goals. Make the good choices convenient and the bad choices inconvenient. By shaping your environment, you make discipline less of a battle and more of a natural way of living. Chapter 6. The Power of Routines and Systems. If discipline is about consistency, then routines and systems are the secret tools that make it effortless. In this chapter, Daniel Walter explains that relying on willpower or motivation every day is exhausting. The smarter way to stay disciplined is to build routines and systems that guide your actions automatically. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't need motivation to do it. You just do it because it's part of your daily routine. That's the power of habits and systems. They remove the need to make constant decisions, which reduces mental fatigue. When your day is structured with healthy routines, you save your willpower for bigger challenges. Walter suggests starting small. Create simple systems that line up with your goals. For example, if you want to exercise more, set out your workout clothes the night before. If you want to save money, automate transfers into your savings account so it happens without effort. Over time, these routines stack up and make discipline feel natural instead of forced. The key lesson here is that systems beat willpower. When you rely only on self-control, you'll eventually hit a wall. But with strong routines in place, you remove friction and make the right choices the default. Discipline stops being something you fight for and becomes a lifestyle you live every day. Chapter 7. Discipline builds mental toughness. Life isn't always smooth sailing. There are setbacks, challenges, and moments when giving up feels like the easier choice. In this chapter, Daniel Walter explains that discipline is what toughens your mind and helps you push through those rough patches. Mental toughness isn't about never feeling tired, discouraged, or stressed. It's about not letting those feelings control your actions. Discipline is the practice of showing up even when conditions aren't perfect. Every time you stick to a commitment despite discomfort, you're strengthening your resilience, just like building muscle at the gym. Walter points out that disciplined people don't succeed because life is easier for them. They succeed because they've trained themselves to keep going when others stop. For example, an athlete doesn't enjoy every grueling workout, but discipline teaches them to embrace the discomfort, knowing it builds strength for competition. The same principle applies to studying for exams, working on long-term projects, or saving money. Discipline develops grit. The big takeaway is that discipline and mental toughness go hand in hand. The more disciplined you are, the stronger your mindset becomes. And the stronger your mindset, the easier it is to stay disciplined in the face of obstacles. It's a cycle that keeps you growing. In short, discipline isn't just about reaching goals. It's about becoming the kind of person who can handle life challenges with strength and confidence. Chapter 8. Clarity and goal setting enhance discipline. It's really hard to stay disciplined if you don't know exactly what you're working toward. In this chapter, Daniel Walter highlights how clarity and goal setting give discipline its direction. Without a clear target, discipline feels like hard work with no reward. But when your goals are specific and meaningful, discipline becomes the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Think of it like driving. If you don't have a destination, you'll just wander around aimlessly, wasting gas and time. But if you punch an address into the GPS, every turn and stop suddenly makes sense. That's what clear goals do for discipline. They act as your GPS, giving purpose to your daily efforts. Walter suggests breaking big goals into smaller, manageable steps. Instead of saying, I want to be healthy, aim for something concrete like I'll exercise for 30 minutes, 5 times a week. Specific goals are easier to track, and they keep you motivated because you can actually see your progress. Another key point is writing down your goals. It sounds simple, but putting goals on paper makes them more real and keeps you accountable. With clarity, you eliminate guesswork, and discipline becomes less about forcing yourself and more about following a clear plan. The lesson here? Discipline is strongest when it's tied to a vision. The clearer your goals, the easier it is to stay consistent because you know exactly why each step matters. Chapter 9. Discipline applies across all life domains. A lot of people think discipline is just about work or maybe fitness, but Daniel Walter makes it clear it's much bigger than that. Discipline is a skill that touches every part of your life, and the more you strengthen it, the more benefits you see across the board. Take health, for example. Discipline is what helps you choose the salad over the fries or stick to that workout routine even when you'd rather stay in bed. In finances, discipline shows up in saving, budgeting, and resisting impulse purchases, which over time builds real security. In relationships, Discipline means being patient, listening, and consistently showing up for the people who matter most. And of course, in your career or studies, discipline is the key to staying focused, meeting deadlines, and continually improving. Walter's point is simple but powerful. Discipline isn't something you switch on and off depending on the situation. It's a way of living. Once you develop it in one area, it often spills over into others. For example, building discipline at the gym can make it easier to be disciplined at work because you've trained yourself to do hard things consistently. The big takeaway is that discipline is like a universal tool. It works everywhere. If you practice it in daily life, it strengthens you in every domain, creating balance, stability, and steady progress in all areas that matter. Chapter 10. Discipline creates freedom. At first glance, discipline might sound restrictive, like rules, routines, and saying no to fun. But in this final chapter, Daniel Walter flips that idea on its head. True discipline doesn't take away your freedom. It actually creates it. Think about it this way. When you're disciplined with money, you avoid debt and gain the freedom to travel, invest, or retire earlier. When you're disciplined with your health, you enjoy the freedom of energy, strength, and fewer limitations as you age. When you're disciplined with your time, you free yourself from chaos and stress, giving you space to do the things you really love. Walter explains that people without discipline often feel stuck, overwhelmed, or controlled by bad habits. They might think they're choosing freedom in the moment, like binge watching instead of working on a project, but in reality, they're sacrificing long-term freedom for short-term comfort. Discipline flips that equation. By making intentional choices now, you buy yourself more options later. The big lesson here is that discipline isn't about punishment. It's about empowerment. It helps you take control of your life instead of being controlled by impulses, distractions, or circumstances. In the end, discipline may feel tough at first, but it's the very thing that opens the door to lasting freedom, success, and peace of mind. Conclusion. So, here's the big takeaway from The Power of Discipline by Daniel Walter. Success isn't about luck, talent, or waiting for motivation to strike. It's about building discipline, one choice, one habit, one consistent action at a time. Discipline helps you delay gratification, design better routines, strengthen your mental toughness, and take control of your environment. And when you do that, you're not just chasing success. You're building a life of freedom and purpose. What I love most about this book is that it makes discipline feel less like a chore and more like a superpower. Instead of relying on bursts of motivation, you create a system that carries you forward even on tough days. Imagine where you could be a year from now if you simply practiced discipline in small, steady steps. Your health, your career, your finances, even your relationships could look completely different. Of course, this summary only scratches the surface. If you found these insights helpful, I'd definitely recommend reading the full book to dive deeper into Daniel Walter's practical tips and strategies. And before you go, I'd love to hear from you. What's one area of your life where you'd like to build more discipline? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this summary, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and share it with someone who could use a little discipline boost in their life. Until next time, stay consistent, stay focused, and keep building the life you deserve.